Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. I'm back at one of my favorite filming spot locations because guess what? We have something new and improved from that premium, iconic Japanese luxury brand. What are we talking about? This vehicle right here. This is a 2026 updated refresh Infiniti QX60. This particular one is the all-new sport trim. But before we get into this mid-size luxury 3-row crossover SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So Infiniti is trying to claw their way back. And what are we talking about? We're talking about how a company, a brand that was created back in 1989, the premium brand of Nissan, had its rise and then things kind of fizzled for a little bit. But with the introduction of the redesigned QX80 and slimming up their lineup and now bringing some new refreshing changes to the QX60, Infiniti might be on to a renaissance. Now in this mid-size segment, there's some pretty big competition. You got the Mercedes-Benz GLE 350. You have, of course, the BMW X5. But what I want to find out is, has Infiniti made the right changes to make this QX60 the one to own? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, I love this color combination. That metallic gunmetal gray finish really sparkles nicely, looks classy, but also has that sporty style to it as well. At the front of the business, you're gonna see an update in their headlight design. You'll notice how they've taken the piano keys of the daytime running lamp and actually they're giving you more. So they kind of separated them and then spread the room for that LED daytime running lamp, your turn signal, and LED headlight. Look at the way they put some nice design in the corner of the interior of the headlight housing. Now, working our way down, the sport trim has its own unique front fascia. You'll notice a very aggressive body line, but one of my big zonks is fake vent. They could have made this easily a corner air curtain, or even better yet, how about some LED fog lamps? Would have went perfect in that spot. And then working our way to the lower level, you have this metallic black splitter. Actually pretty aggressive on the front of a QX60, but like I said, they're taking the style and tweaking it, plus having this all new sport trim. But let me know what you think so far of the lighting and of course how they sculpted this lower corner. Now, as we come across that iconic badge, you'll notice how they've done the update where the badge actually is like three-dimensional going into the grille. You do have daytime running lamp that illuminates the badge at night, metallic painted on our all-new grille. And it really has been heightened with more crisscross applesauce lace design and then these diagonal lines that kind of flow away from the Infiniti badge. We got a forward-facing camera, very important when you're parking your luxury SUV. And then on the sport trim, I am digging the dark chrome finish. No shiny bits on the exterior of this particular QX60. Now on the bottom portion, you got flat black. You'll notice our intercooler peeking from behind. Peekaboo, I see you. More of that body color, and then that splitter really gives it that extra sporty style, but it is also a functional piece. They did try to tweak the arrow at the front of the car. But one of the things I've always loved about Infiniti is that they have a really nice timeless design. You compare this to a Lexus, you compare this to an Audi, even a Mercedes-Benz, I feel like the body lines on this are just super clean. And with that dark chrome up top and on the bottom of the grille, just really gives it a nice kind of centerpiece at the front of this vehicle. Now, as we rise up, the hood is going to be the same, which isn't a bad thing. Nice, soft curve meets clean with the top of the grille. The body lines, like the gaps, are all Egyptian pyramid style perfect. And remember, this is a pre-production unit, which sometimes that could vary, but so far looking so good. They kind of just give a slight rise, a little bit of a peak. That's part of that Infiniti design style to their hoods. And then it kind of evaporates as you get towards the windshield. And one of the other things I like about Infiniti compared to, say, Nissan, the parent company, is with their style. Look how soft, just nice and soft and elegant of a curve. And it's interesting because when you're behind the wheel, you see these curves very cleanly to give you a nice visual reference point. Now, as we come around the bend, we have all new wheels and tires. These are specific to the sport trim, and I did exactly what Lori wanted. She wanted this Infiniti badge perfectly level. Guess what? We got a level out that is perfectly horizontal with the ground, gloss black, with just a little bit of machined aluminum accents around the exterior. 20-inch wheel. Tires are going to be 255 on the width, 50 series sidewall, and this does have all-wheel drive. Now, remember, it is front-wheel drive based, and then it sends power to the rear wheels when needed. The one thing that just kills me is the flat black around the fender openings. Come on. This is a luxury SUV. This is a sport trim. You're not going off-roading. That should be body color. Worst case scenario, make it painted metallic black like the splitter. But that flat black has got to go. Now, with the shock absorbers and the springs, they did retune the suspension on this sport trim to give you a little bit sportier feel and drive. But let me know what you think about these wheels. Really cool. It's like a black snowflake style wheel with those nice accents all the way around the exterior portion of that 20-inch wheel. Now, coming down the side of the vehicle, you're going to have painted black mirror caps, LED turn signals, and 360-degree cameras. I like the way they hide the camera nicely up in there rather than it sticking out like a big zit. From the side, this is a mid-size. Full size is QX80. This is a mid-size. This would be basically on the same chassis as a Nissan Pathfinder, which is also a mid-size 3-row. Now, up top, I love the way you got the two-tone. So you do have the option of a two-tone paint job with that black painted roof. And I'm thinking it's so smart the way they have the roof rails nice and close, everything painted that gloss black. Even the trim, instead of going black chrome, I really like this dark aluminum style. It's almost like a gunmetal gray finish, like a titanium. Really, really nice finish around the window openings. Door handles are going to be body colored, of course. We do have all-wheel drive, so power is going to go to the back. One thing I almost forgot is that as you slide on in, you'll notice the Infiniti name embossed in that gloss black trim down below. But you do have a lot of flat black, which I really think, like I said, that should be all painted body color. Another thing that I like what they're doing, that they started with the QX80, notice how they bring the trim back, and it's almost like into a razor blade style, like when you would go to a barber and get shaved. Really like the way they did that instead of connecting everything. Gives it a unique look. And then spin around back, you know what I'm gonna say, right? It's almost perfect. The LED lighting is very, very elegant. I like the way they kind of fog out the lower lens area. And even things like this little curved area in the rear bumper just gives it that extra kind of something. This, though, rip it off. I want to rip it off right here, but it's going to leave a hole in the rear glass. And it's funny because you got that nice long roof spoiler, everything painted, and you could tuck it underneath there, and you wouldn't even know it's there until you needed it. Now, on the back, I like the way they're spelling Infiniti. One of the reasons why is there's still a lot of people that put a Y. This is not Infiniti like Buzz Lightyear Infiniti. This is Infiniti, the car brand, the luxury car brand. So you're not going to Infiniti and beyond. You're driving and you're going on throttle in an Infiniti with an I, not a Y. Badging, QX60. You want to take a guess what S stands for? Sport with the all-wheel drive badge. I like that little touch. And then dropping it like it's hot, and it's starting to get hot today. You got body color, that gunmetal gray finish. You have some flat black. And then some black trim. I like the way they didn't make anything look like exhaust. They actually tucked the DOT required reflectors in that lower area. I think that's smart because that really cleans up the back, upper mid back portion. But style, pretty clean. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about power of this QX60. All right guys, we got the hood popped. Cat's out of the bag. There isn't a V6 underneath the hood. What do we have? That VC turbo, variable compression turbo. Nice that they kind of put the Infiniti name on the engine cover. What do we got going on? That's that 2-liter turbocharged inline 4. It pumps out 268 horsepower, 286 pound-feet of torque. The great news is you got a 9-speed automatic, no CVT. 0 to 60 in about 7.5 seconds. Top speed is governed to 120 miles per hour. With the all-wheel drive, you're gonna get 22 mpgs in the city, 27 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs right around 4,742 pounds. The other nice piece of news is that you can tow up to 6,000 pounds with this vehicle, which is actually quite impressive for its particular class. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this 4-cylinder turbo and see it move. All right, guys, we're inside this updated, refresh, changed up 2026 Infiniti QX60. This being that new sport trim. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, growing up, my mom had a Q45. I used to love being dropped off to school in that car. All my other friends were embarrassed to be dropped off. I loved it because the car was so cool. So you could say I have some family history, so to speak, with Infiniti. I really want one. I don't want the new QX80, it's too big. But I'm thinking the QX60 with these changes might really be the way to go. But how much is it? Very good question. This particular one, the way that it's optioned, has an MSRP of $65,000. But let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Absolutely love the new color combo. The blue with the black is stunning. You have up top the black soft touch with the white contrast stitching, the real wood finish, nice dark stain with that sort of the grain going on a diagonal, really shows how they pay attention to detail. Even the way the door handle flows into the silver trim. It all is a clean design. Working your way down into that blue armrest, nicely padded with the contrast stitching, we have the Klipsch 16 speaker premium sound system. That triangular one that looks like a Dorito really kind of makes the door panel look so exclusive. And then down below, you'll easily be able to go to Panera and get one of their frozen sandwiches that's been defrosted, like a bacon turkey Bravo. Get at least 2 of those in there, and a nice large cup of peach tea. Now going from the door panel to the dash, more of that really elegant wood finish. The stitching, the blue, the black and the blue. Normally you don't want black and blues, but in here you do, because it looks absolutely just mind-blowing. Even the way they did the trim, the gloss black you're really not going to be touching, but it just makes everything come together. And then the soft touch on the side. Now down below is where you could put your Louis Vuitton purse, maybe a Kate Spade purse, or maybe you have a Calvin Klein Merce. Hey, whatever you have, whatever type of sack you have, you can put your sack right down there. And then we have an all new 12.3-inch infotainment system. This is your home screen, and this is where you could slide through the different apps and icons. I like the way they have easy access for the cameras, especially because now They have a great panoramic view and even a view where you can see right through the freaking hood. The hood's right here. You can see the ground right through it. There's those 20-inch wheels. Look at the way the wheels move. This is going to make sure that when you park into that tight parking spot, you're not going to curb those wheels, because you know it's going to break your heart when you hear that sound. I hate that sound. It's like nails on a chalkboard for a car person. And then we're right back where we started. Keep sliding. This is where you can set up your own home screen and pull out your different apps. Speaking of apps, they redid all the graphics. You got Amazon Alexa, Google Maps. Nice. Look how nice it's just the movement, the clarity, all that resolution looks fantastic. And then we're right back home again. The blue, the black. Down below, if you like buttons and knobs, they got you covered. Dual climate control. You got 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats. The one thing that's gonna probably annoy you is that this is all gloss black, so you're gonna get fingerprints on it. But if you have your Infiniti microfiber cloth towel, you can wipe everything off. We even have heated steering wheel, your AC controls for your blower fan, and it's got a haptic kickback, which is kind of nice, and of course your volume knob. But I prefer this kind of setup than everything being in the screen. Down below you have wireless charging, more of the blue. This is your electric shifter for your 9-speed automatic. Start stop button, D, I hope you like the D mode. You go into your different drive modes. And then of course you could use the control knob to go through the infotainment system if you're afraid of touching screens. 2 cup holders, like the silver trim. And then the blue, it's mind-blowing. It really looks fantastic. Hit the button. Felt lining, so you could put your family jewels in here. And you got your 12 volt. But yeah, even if you have a big set of family jewels, they'll fit in here. And you won't scratch them. Nobody wants their family jewels just scratched up. Ouch. Seats, the 2-tone, the leather, blue with the black. Full electric assist for the passenger. Full electric assist for the driver. I like the black headliner. And then of course we have that power shade because we have a full panoramic sunroof. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel in this new Infiniti. Come on over. All right guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. I love the new aluminum sill plate with the nice embossed Infiniti name. And then of course you have that great design. Illuminates. Power controls for the lower lumbar. Obviously 8-way adjustable for the seats. The seats are fantastic. Not only do they look good, but there's just enough cushion for the pushing, but there's also support so that you're not sinking in quicksand, if you get my drift. Plenty of headroom, which is nice. I'm 6 feet tall. Steering wheel, black leather all the way around. A little bit of flat bottomness to it. I just wish they would put some leather on the horn button. But I do love the Infiniti badge. Flat black on all the switchgear. This does have the new Pro Pilot Assist 2.1. Paddles behind the wheel to go up and down that 9-speed automatic. It has a power tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then of course that digital gauge cluster. I mean, look at how you could bring up all this different information all by the flip of a switch. It really is a cornucopia, including the map. That's really nice to have. Easy accessibility that is a no-brainer on how to set it up. The one thing that's hurting me, that might be hurting you, no HUD, no head-up display. Kind of interesting, $65,000 luxury SUV. But let's get into the mid-row and the third row and see what Infiniti's packing. All right, guys, mid-row time, and I think you're gonna like what Infiniti has done. First of all, you got the same nice leather, the blue with the black. I need to fix this headrest because that hurts my OCD. That's better. Armrest, I'm gonna give it a half a zonk because it needs just a little bit more armrest for the captain's chair, but it is nice to have the same, like I said, the same great leather. Backs of the seats, all soft touch. Large pockets, you could put, I would say, a couple books back here. You want to have some books. You want your kids to read and not read off a screen. Read an actual book. Command center. You got your blower fan, your temperature gauge. The one thing that stinks that's a zonk is you only have heated seats, no ventilated seats. That's a zonk. 2 USB-Cs. And then you do have manual security shades. Block out the paparazzi, the peepers and the creepers. You have a nice little area here. You could put, seriously, a nice large bag of Cheetos, plus some napkins, because if you give somebody Cheetos and not napkins, that's like giving somebody a freaking pizza with no cheese on it. Gotta have the napkins, because they're gonna destroy the back seat area with orange fingerprints everywhere. The interesting thing, remember, is you pop this off. Let's see if I could get it here. This actually comes off like that. Just gotta use a little bit of muscle. And then what you're able to do is take it with you. So you put it under your arm and you could go shopping, whatever you're doing, and somebody can say, hey, what's that under your arm? Be like, oh, it's just the center console to the rear seat of my Infiniti. But as you can see, it's not as easy to work as the Acura one. The Acura one is much easier. And then you got this cover too, which is, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. But let's go ahead, let's get into the third row and see how much room there is in this Infiniti. All right, guys, back row time, third row time. And one thing I forgot to point out is that the seats do slide and they do recline. And you'll notice that there's a button right there. You hit that, that will actually move the seat forward to get into the third row. Or, thank God, they put a button on the back of the seat that I could press. There's my button. And then you notice just how quick and how fast it ejects forward and really opens up a lot of room to get into the third row. Now, once you're in, it's a little cramped. So I'm kind of close to the headliner. Everybody gets AC vents mid-row and third row, which is a blessing, trust me. I have a USB-C, but what's funny is it's only on this side, not on that side. So one USB-C, 2 cup holders. Let's see if I can adjust the seat here. The good news is it's blue. It's just not as soft as everybody else's leather. And you do have a little place where you can put your phone so it doesn't slide on the floor and then disappear into the abyss. Let's see. Ah, yeah, there we go. So you actually can recline the seats a little bit. The problem is, let me do this. The problem is you have to reach over your shoulder. It would have been nice to have a button or something. So this is where you're actually lifting to move the seat. But they do drop back quite a bit, which is good. And then the headrest can go down like that. But I'm surprised they only did one USB-C. See what they did here? It's just a blocked off panel. That's a zonk. $65,000. But thank God they have nice large AC vents for both the mid-row and the third row, because it's hot. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the cargo area and see if there's a lot of room for all of those things you're gonna buy at the mall in your next trip with Claire and Clive in this Infiniti. All right, guys, time to get in the cargo area. Infiniti is so clean with their design, I bet you can't even find where the button is to open up the rear cargo area. It's actually right here. Look at that, hidden right by the backup camera. Hit it, don't quit it. Nice electric assist. I like the way the rear bumper isn't too high off the ground. One of the zonks though, on a luxury SUV, you gotta have some of that nice aluminum trim back here rather than just the plastic. But the good news is, when you go to the mall, you could load this up with your Abercrombie & Fitch. You could go to American Apparel and really get a great discount from them. And this is where you could hide what you're buying from prying eyes. That's one of the biggest things. If you don't want to have your car broken into at a mall, put the bags somewhere where people can't see them, especially from brands like Abercrombie & Fitch and American Apparel. Seal it up, lock it up. You do have a nice convenient 12 volt. And then the rear seats obviously fold down, 60-40 split. I'm gonna have Lori kind of show off this area because we gotta tell you how much room you have. Believe it or not, you have 31 cubic feet of space with that third row up. We're gonna put the third row down. It is manual, but you know what? It's totally fine. I don't need electric third row. Look at that, nice and flat. Here's where those, let me get this out of the way. Here's where the USB was, the USB-C in that third row that I was trying to show you. It's a little hard when we're sitting inside the vehicle, but now you're looking at how much room? 49 cubic feet of space. So you fold down the mid row, you got 60 cubic feet of space. But it's that time. If you're ready, I'm definitely ready. Let's go on throttle and see how fast we could get to the mall in this QX60. All right, guys, we are inside this 2026 Infiniti QX60 Sport trim, and right away you're gonna feel right at home behind the wheel of this vehicle. Easy to get to the 12.3-inch infotainment system. I wanted to bring up the new cameras and just show you that great panoramic view, and then of course the view through the actual hood of the vehicle. Now, I have it in sport mode. Let me double check that. We do have it in sport mode, and I'm gonna go on throttle. When you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. So there is a little bit of boost lag off the line, but once you get going, the 9-speed automatic is paired well with the power from the variable compression turbo engine. I really feel like this Infiniti would be close to, dare I say, perfect if it had its old naturally aspirated V6. Very surprising to put this particular engine in this particular vehicle. One of the things is it's a little buzzy, so you are going to hear the sound of the 4-cylinder working. But other than that, when we're focusing on the interior, that's really where it all comes together, especially with the new infotainment system, the blue and the black trimmed interior, that wonderful 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, and the fact that right from the steering wheel you could switch through a plethora of information and readouts, which is really nice. Going down the road, the ride is very compliant, very smooth, but they did do some extra tuning to kind of heighten some of the sportiness of this mid-sized 3-row crossover SUV. Visibility is really good. Out the front, out the back, the side mirrors are a good size. And of course you got the full suite of safety features, including lane keep assist and blind spot monitoring. Now in sport mode, that's going to adjust how the sensitivity of the steering is with throttle sensitivity, and of course how the 9-speed automatic behaves with the 2-liter turbocharged inline 4. But let's see how she handles, just to give you a little bit of an idea. Nice and controlled. The 9-speed does a great job. On throttle, here we go. But I do really like the ride quality, and the seats are absolutely phenomenal. Really great job on the seats. They're supportive, but they're not real squishy, which is nice. It's just the 4-cylinder turbo. It's not my favorite choice for this particular vehicle. Now, to change modes, remember you got that D mode selector switch. I'm gonna go ahead and put in auto. That's basically gonna be your normal / comfort. And you also have snow mode and even tow mode, which, remember, you could tow up to 6,000 pounds with this vehicle, which in its class, that's a pretty good number. I do like the fact that you have that really good tow range when it comes to capacity. I'm just surprised that it does not have a head-up display. That to me is a little bit of a head scratcher. But getting this 16 speaker Klipsch sound system, very clear audio, which shows the quality. And then let's go on throttle again. I'm gonna slow down here. Let those cars go out in front. See how there's like a delay there? On throttle, here we go. Just like a delay in my on throttle. I mean, once you're up and running, it's not too noticeable. It's just off the line. It's not really the greatest. So I wish they would have done something a little bit more with the tuning of the variable compression turbo. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into M mode, which is manual shift. I'm going to use those paddles. You do have a gear indicator inside the tachometer. It's a nice large gear indicator as well, which is good. We'll see how these upshifts and these downshifts. Downshifts are nice and smooth. Very, very quick. And then we're going to go on throttle using the paddles here. See if we could get a little bit more oomph in our step. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. So a little bit better because you can obviously run the RPM all the way up to the 6,000 RPM red line. But still, just I don't like the 2-liter turbo with this particular SUV. The V6, I just feel would have really brought this up to that level that so many people want. Put it back into drive, and then we're cruising down the highway here. But hopefully this has been a good, quick overall review of this Infiniti QX60 for 2026. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day with something updated and freshened up from Infiniti with this QX60 Sport. Let me know what you think in the comment section. We definitely gotta thank everybody at Infiniti USA for allowing us to have access to this press free vehicle. But is this the mid-size luxury SUV to own? Or are you gonna go with one of the German Euro brands, or maybe even an Acura MDX? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. Gotta get out to Latte Lori. She brings the angles of these car reviews that nobody else can bring. And that's why I'm proud to say she is part of Raiti's Rides. She is Raiti's Rides. So thank you, Latte Lori, for all that you do, and of course, the awesome coffee you brew. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.